and just the ease of which regular folks, people who go to Walmart. There are 150 million Americans who use Walmart online or in person every week. Can now actually have crypto in the very same app. They can buy it, they can hold it, they can store it, they can trade it if they want. And then when they want to go pay for something, they can, turn it into cash. And like we said, go, OnePay is actually integrated into the checkouts of Walmart. So it is, I think, a milestone in that case, Carl.
Walmart enabling their customers to use crypto to pay and looking to integrate cryptocurrencies in their operations. And we have spoken previously about how using the likes of stablecoins can literally save billions of dollars for some corporations. If you think about Amazon, which is having some issues today with their web services, which we're going to look at, decentralization can actually combat this. You won't have this problem with a decentralized system because there's not one single point of failure. But if you think about Amazon, and if they were to adopt crypto for payments, which they will eventually do, mark my words, they could literally save annually potentially billions of dollars in fees charged by merchants. So big news. We're moving towards adoption. I don't know how good of a thing it is that Walmart are ultimately looking to embed crypto. Certainly don't use your crypto to buy things from Walmart. Get rid of your worthless fiat. I told you that story about me getting clowned at a Bitcoin Maxi conference. And I'm a bit of a Bitcoin Maxi in the sense that I think it's very special and it's where I started my journey. But I do think there's a broader application for a distributed ledger beyond Bitcoin. This is where we fundamentally disagree. But I was buying a coffee and the guy said to me, "Oh, you're buying a coffee with fiat at a Bitcoin conference." And I was kind of like, "Well, you're buying this coffee with Bitcoin?" It didn't really make that much sense to me, certainly given the whole ethos. But you peel back the onion a little bit with Bitcoin maximalists and you find out that it really is baseless, a lot of what they're saying. We've got a lot to get into, guys. First of all, half of the internet just went down. Seems to be Amazon Web Services has had a catastrophic crash. Even things like Signal and numerous AI services are down. These are some of the individuals affected. I do think it's back up and running now for the most part. It was not catastrophic in my opinion. It was just an outage. These things happen. Deepin will come back into the spotlight for crypto, I think. Decentralized systems for enabling the internet, I think, do have advantages. And actually, I think that you'll see a kind of decentralized model be adopted, decentralized but centralized by these big players, and the use of distributed ledger to kind of coordinate everything introduced. Just an interesting one. We've got a hell of a lot to get into. The Federal Reserve to talk crypto and AI payments at the Innovation Summit. This is taking place tomorrow. It's the 20th of October today. This year has flown by. We've had a bear and we're now in a new bull market for the traditional stock market. It's been an eventful year to say nothing else. But the Federal Reserve is hosting a high-profile conference on the 21st of October focused on payment innovations. It will bring together some of the biggest names in the crypto and fintech space. Panelists include Chainlink, Paxos, Circle, and Coinbase, along with leaders from Google, Stripe, and BlackRock. Topics range from stablecoins and tokenized products to how AI is shaking up payments, the Fed's going full tech mode, and the future of money might just be getting a software update. It is indeed. And the IMF director, who was actually meeting with Christine Lagarde and Andrew Bailey from the BOE, essentially confirmed this. And I'm going to do a video later actually looking at an IMF paper and talking about the need for a bridge currency that they call currency C or C currency to facilitate things. I wonder who they're referring to there. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comment section. But this is who's taking part. This is going to take place tomorrow. If this is streamable, we will stream it. If not, then we won't. But we shall see. There should be some interesting, juicy things to come out of this, I believe. Also, some UK news, some positive UK news in the sea of misery for us here in the UK. I always want to go on a big rant, but I'm not. BlackRock launches Bitcoin ETPs in the UK, and you can actually buy crypto ETPs for Ethereum and I believe Bitcoin for now. And I do actually also believe you can put these into your ISA. So in the UK, and double check this, guys, I'm not a tax or sort of financial advisor, of course. Do double check this, but I believe you will actually be able to put Bitcoin in your 20 grand ISA or Ethereum and other cryptos when they come, which effectively mean you won't have to pay any tax on your crypto. To clarify, if you can put them into your 20 grand cash tax-free ISAs, and that's yearly, you get that allowance. If you can do that, which I think you can for now, that means the profits you make on that 20 grand, up to that 20 grand, are effectively tax-free, which is pretty cool that we have that in the UK. We'll see what they do to stifle that in the up-and-coming announcements that they have from Reeves, who is likely going to tax us more. If they tax us too much, I'm afraid to say it, guys, but I am out of the UK. Mark my words. You know, I'm stomaching quite a lot right now here in the UK. There is a limit where it just doesn't make... it doesn't make sense now, if I'm being quite honest with you, to be in the UK. I won't stomach any other penalisation towards me via taxes at this point. Let's talk a little bit about technically. So we know what's taken place. Not this Friday just gone, but the one before. There was the largest liquidation event ever in history. Despite that, one must say the cryptocurrency market really doesn't look that bad. And I think that's bullish, not bearish. I think you're going to bounce here. Yesterday, we looked at something interesting from John Bollinger, the founder of the Bollinger Bands. Now, I only use the Bollinger Bands. I'm not a Bollinger expert. It's not something I've spent a great deal of time studying. However, I think it's a useful concept, certainly in regards to when you get a squeezing in the Bollinger Bands. In the same way that I look at traditional price patterns, sort of narrowing. This is a restriction in volatility that often leads to an expansion. And rather interestingly, John is highlighting here on the 18th, so this was Saturday, I believe, potential W bottom in the Bollinger Band terms for ETH USD and Sol USD, but not for Bitcoin USD yet. Going to be time to pay attention soon. Now, the last time he said this, Bitcoin did very well. He previously said this in regards to the W bottom and this was this year in April for Bitcoin. You know, this is the W bottom at the lower band of the Bollinger Bands that he's talking about. This is back when Bitcoin was 79k, which we're going to take a quick look at. Do we have Bollinger Bands on here? No, we don't. We'll go over to... let's use this chart. In fact, let's just do this. So he was looking at it on a weekly time frame and he was talking here. This is April. When he was kind of highlighting it. You can see here, Bitstamp. This is April the 10th. This is April the 10th here. He was sort of highlighting this double bottom on the lower band of the Bollinger Bands. And we went from sort of 79k all the way up to 126. And he last time he said pay attention, you know, he's made some great calls on Bitcoin. He essentially is calling that for Ethereum and Solana. And this is what he's looking at. I believe he's looking at a daily time frame. A lot of confusion about this. There's, you know, really does go to show the caliber of technical analysts. Here we have this double bottom again that he's ultimately calling for upside as a result of. That aligns more broadly what we're looking at. And of course, he's calling a similar thing for Solana. Here, there's many other altcoins that are doing this also. And he's essentially calling for upside, but saying that that's not quite applicable for Bitcoin as of right now. It somewhat is. It's just your sort of right butt cheek, as it were, is lower. So John essentially looking for upside. Very interesting. He's made some great calls. We covered this yesterday. Of course, you guys know our broader trajectory and plan for Bitcoin. I always think the fact that he's supporting on this EMA, it's been a great place to bounce so far. It's a great place to bounce. I think this just leads to continuation. This is just a range. There was some good TA done by Axel Kiba, and he's looking at a inverse head and shoulders here. This is my language in regards to these traditional sort of technical continuation patterns following a trend. This is stuff that we've had drawn for a long time. One thing that he's essentially highlighting is a kind of inverse head and shoulders here, and this is just a retest of the neckline, all within a range that's ultimately going to lead to continuation. And this, of course, is the kind of head and shoulders. Yeah, it's not perfect, I don't think, that he's looking at. And that he's got I think this will be a non-log target, 141k price prediction for. Now, despite the sentiment, you know, we've been getting somewhat bashed to come out, given the price action that we've seen, the largest ever liquidation event, which we didn't get caught up in because we don't trade leverage. You guys shouldn't have either. We say you're ding-dongs if you try and do that. I've watched the best technical analysts I've ever met in my life fail miserably at it. So when normal people come to me and say they're going to do it, I say, okay, well, don't. Or do it and lose your money. And then come back to me and tell me how it went. But despite the price action, we've remained unbelievably bullish. And we don't just get that. We're looking at small timeframes here. We get that from our bigger sort of timeframe trajectories, not just for Bitcoin, but across the board. Now is a better time than any to become a Patreon, guys. Not only will you unlock my full portfolio, we're looking at a new DAT recently as well. We reviewed it yesterday in our Sunday meeting. We do one of those meetings every single Sunday, and we outline our overview. And it hasn't changed. And it's good to have the confidence and putting on the armor of technical analysis with fundamental analysis in a bigger sort of time frame and setting. It's good to have that, certainly during times of volatility like what we've seen. But I see absolute merit for continuation here for the cryptocurrency market. And I think the total cryptocurrency market really just on the cusp of breaking out into price discovery. This also has that kind of Bollinger Band S double bottom that John is highlighting for Sol and Ethereum, which would make sense, right? Because they make up a large part of the total two, which is everything excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So the stage is set. And I want to share that interesting sort of TA with you. We shared what John Bollinger had to say yesterday. I do think it's going to come to fruition. There was an interesting paper that came out, again, that nobody's really spoke about over the weekend. This is from Pierre Cipollone. Cipollone, he's definitely Italian. I spend quite a bit of time in northern Italy. I do like Italy. Food-wise, you really can't beat it, I think. And the quality is just... It's crazy because I always eat what I want in Italy and I end up losing weight. Come to the UK, I can watch what I eat, but because of the sort of food quality we have here, it's, Anyway, totally irrelevant that. But this was interesting. Developing a Euro market for digital assets. Developing a Euro market for digital assets is key to preserving European sovereignty. We looked at what Christian Lagarde had to say not that long ago. Fostering innovation, advancing and saving instruments for the Union. It talks about the sort of threat of the US dollar. Talks about risk to financial stability, so on and so forth. And this is kind of further confirmation in regards to this arms race that we're really yet to witness on any kind of meaningful scale for crypto. Every nation has to adopt this technology. I'm at a stage now where I actually speak to advisors of central banks. Me, a humble crypto channel. We speak to large ECB providers in Europe. As far as crypto is concerned, we've got some great connections. And let me tell you, everybody's gearing up to adopt cryptocurrencies. Public, there will be some private, of course. There's going to be a kind of intermesh. But there's some that are clearly more dominant than others, in my opinion. The last place for me to really finish up on is with the CoinShares report. Ethereum investors buy the dip, offset by Bitcoin outflows. So despite the largest liquidation events ever in history, outflows were minor. Digital asset ETP saw 513 million in outflows after the 10th of October's liquidation cascade, through ETP investors largely shrugging it off. Outflows were US focused, 621 million, with Germany and Switzerland and Canada recording inflows as investors bought the dip. Bitcoin-led outflows, while Ethereum saw 205 million inflows. Solana, 156 million inflows. Wow, something's coming for that big time. And XRP, 73.9 million. Saw strong inflows on a continued ETF launch enthusiasm. And of course, we still have a government shutdown, so we're not going to get that yet. But despite everything, really not a bad result. Stay tuned to this channel, guys. We try and give you the most based, non-BS. And this space is full of BS. Let me tell you that the main... I'm not going to insult anyone. Follow the channel. Subscribe, like, comment. It helps us get to a broader audience. You want to take your journey a step further, become a Patreon today. Check out yesterday's meeting. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks, everybody, for watching. It's a bright future we have ahead of us, despite the volatility which is inherent with the crypto space. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.